If you're somebody who wants to live a fuller life, if it feels like you're catching up, you haven't yet started living the life of your dreams, this video is for you. I'm going to talk about ways that you can begin shifting your identity, not changing yourself, just shifting your identity and leveling up so that everything that's on the inside, we get to experience it on the outside. Because trust me, it's already all there. Ready? Let's get into it.
Hey, welcome to Love on Stage. I'm Magogodi. If you're ready to make sales and spark action when you speak, this is your place. I've helped dozens of leaders choose courage over comfort by speaking with confidence and love, especially in tough conversations. Because listen, public speaking isn't just a thing that you do on stage. It's what you do every time you deliver a work presentation, when you interview for that plump job you deserve, when you negotiate your salary, and every time you sweat bullets during a big pitch. That's all public speaking. It's time to level up your storytelling because your story matters. So, you ready to speak like a boss? Let's get into your most powerful story.
All right, get in here. It's story time. I want to tell you this wild story of something that happened to me. When I turned 40 years old, was the same time, I kid you not, was the same time that I got pregnant and gave birth to my very first child. So I had lived on this planet, busy being me, busy minding my business, drinking my water, glowing, being all these yummy things. And then the next thing you know, I'm 40 and I'm pregnant. And let me just say, it was a lot. It was a lot because my entire identity and who I thought I was on earth and where I thought my entire life was going, I was fully on the rich, happy, auntie life, cat lady bus. And then suddenly the bus just threw me off. It was like, nah, girl, you're not going on this bus. And I was like, but wait, we were having so much fun. And I bring this up because, yes, it was one of the most beautiful things that's ever happened to me. But I have to be honest, it was also one of the most intimidating things that has ever happened to me, because it's one thing to identify, to recalibrate, to level up your identity when you're younger, when you're going to college, for example, or when I first moved to this country and I was a young buck, honestly. But at 40, to completely reimagine yourself can be quite intimidating. And I want to start off with that story because I want to tell you that, number one, it's possible. But number two, I also want to be really honest. It is hard. And it is going to require so much of you. Not that it's necessarily going to require more of you than what you might have done in your 20s. And that's the good news, right? Because you have examples throughout your life of having had to reinvent yourself. Remember when you first went off on your own from your parents' house, how much of a huge identity shift that was? And you did it. You just you adulted without any means even, because hello, there weren't really memes back then. You know how to do this. It's already in your bones. And when you know that, when you rest on that strength and that resilience inside of you, it gets easier to face all of these things at such a big age. I will also say that doing it at a big age, it can feel, one of the things, it was so liberating for me in a way when my son was born, because it was like, oh, I get to start over at 40. Like, who does that, Apparently you do. When you get to start over at 40, that means you get to rewrite all of the rules to make them according to you. Because guess what? Another thing that's very true is 40 has never, ever, 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 in the history of humanity, 40 has never looked like this. 40, first of all, is the new, you see these 40-year-olds out here and you're like, oh my God, you look like you're barely 25. So there's that going for you. But then also our life expectancy on earth is completely different. It's not the 40 of your grandmother's age, all right? Sometimes it can be a lot to wrap your head around that, like, oh my God, I'm 40, what does it mean? But trust me, that is an asset. And the more you recognize it as an asset, you're winning. Like, you are already winning, okay? All right, so let's talk about practical things. What does it actually mean to shift your identity? How do you go about doing this? I want you to think about this framework in 3 steps. Be it, believe it, and then act like it, okay? Let's break it down. It's first about becoming. And I know that this is counterintuitive because we live in a world and in a society that tells us all we're good for is our actions. But I want to just interrupt that for a moment and ask you first, and please trust me on this because there's research that backs this up and it's powerful stuff about how much we're able to do and shift inside of ourselves when we first decide to become the thing, okay? Think about it this way. When you're joyful, is that an act or is that a state of being? And be real now, like level with me straight. When you come across somebody who is acting happy and not being happy, somebody who constantly has to convince you of how happy they are, do you trust that they're happy? Or are you like, I don't know, something smells funny. Something just doesn't check out here. I bet you more often than not, when somebody is acting like they're happy and not necessarily being happy, it smells funny, right? So first you have to be. Number two, you have to believe it. And belief is such a powerful weapon. Belief is where the seat of intention lives. Once you decide that this is who I am, I don't care who walks into the room and tells me different, this is how I'm going to be. And remember, when you're being something, nothing can move you from your being, right? Sure, you might have like certain reactions and whatnot, but when you're being something, when a bear is being a bear, no matter how much you come in and you're trying to intimidate the bear is still a bear. So I need you to be at that level of commitment to being whatever it is you say, that vision that you have here for yourself, that leveled up version of you. I need you to be there where nothing is going to shift how you're being. But then number two, I need you to assess your beliefs, your intention. Is it aligned with who you're being and who you want to be? And intention is so powerful. Once you decide this is who I am, this is the path that I'm walking in, and nothing can shift me, baby, nothing will shift you because you have decided. There's a really powerful, such a beautiful video, and it's really quick, of Kate Winslet flying around the internet. And she discovers that this young woman who's interviewing her on the other side, this is her first time as a journalist. And when you see the video, I mean, like she's a baby, right? She's like a baby adult. Kate takes time out and she says, oh my God, I can't believe this is your very first time. This is going to be the most beautiful interview ever. We're going to have such a good time. And do you want to know why? Because we've decided it. Because you and me together right now, we have decided that this is going to be the most beautiful, most powerful interview, and anybody who interacts with this video is going to be moved. It's so motivating, it's so moving, and I want you to have that level of conviction towards your intention and your decision. It is ordained. It is happening. It is all the stars already aligned for this leveled up version of you. And the reason why is because you got the power and you've decided to use your power in alignment with this higher thing that you feel inside of you that you're called to do. Number three, I want you to start acting like it. And your action, by the way, one powerful place to start with your action is assessing your habits. What are the daily things that you can start shifting now? They don't have to be the biggest things. Often it's the catalytic actions that seem small, but they like a domino effect. They help everything else line up. I'll give you an example. A couple years ago, I really wanted to be more intentional about taking care of my body and moving. And instead of fretting about running every single day, I fretted over making sure that my workout outfit was laid out before I went to bed and that my sneakers were right by my bed. That way, as soon as I jumped out of bed, I would hop into my workout gear. It was like I was already training all of my cells in my body to be like, nah, you're gonna get this workout in. And it worked because it was forming a habit that just forced me every single day to get out there and run or walk or do something. I want you to be just as intentional about your habits. What are the small things that you can do, like leaving your sneakers in a strategic place so that you have no choice but to follow through with that habit of this person who has leveled up, okay? Number 4, and this really matters, you're going to need some boundaries. And this is where sometimes it gets a little bit tricky. You need some boundaries, and you need to both reintroduce yourself to people who are already around you and make it really clear, this is who I am now, and I would love to introduce you to this person because I think that you're the kind of person who can come on this adventure with me. If they cannot come on that adventure with you and you've made it very clear, this is who I am now and these are my boundaries around how I am in being this new person, if they can't roll with you, honey, they can't roll with you. Like, you can't be concerned about everybody else and what they're doing and how they're interacting. Remember, you're a bear. And a bear is not concerned with other people coming over here and telling him, nah, you're not a bear, you're a rabbit. Bear is like, honey, do you see all of this power? I'm out here still being a bear. So I need you to have that kind of energy when you're interacting with the people that are around you, and be really intentional about how much you surround yourself with people who are supportive of this new version that you're becoming. And don't assume that just because people have been riding with you for the past 40 years and know this old version of you, that they won't support you in this new version of you. But it's up to you to introduce yourself as this new version and say, you know what? I know I've previously been showing up like this and that, but guess what? Like, I think I'm gonna try some new things. Maybe I'm gonna enroll at community college and check this out because this is more in the alignment of where I'm going. You'll be surprised. Some people will love supporting you and they'll be like, it's about damn time. We've been waiting for this you to fully show up because we know what's inside of you. We know that power. We haven't yet experienced it. Other people, those are the people that you're going to leave off the bus. We're going to be like, oh, you changed. Oh, girl, like we can't hang out anymore. Oh, you think you better now. It's like, okay, fine, bye. You don't need that. And your boundaries are going to be super helpful in that. Number 5, I don't know where we are. Are we at number 5 or number 6? I think it's number 5. Number 5, and this is part of boundaries, but because it's boundaries that you need for yourself, accountability. Accountability, because this is you holding yourself accountable to this new version that you said you're walking towards, okay? It's about integrity, essentially. Accountability is integrity because it's you holding yourself up to the highest version of yourself and saying, I know I'm capable. I know I deserve this version of myself. I deserve to experience the fullest, most iterated version of this beautiful dream that I have inside of me. Let me let it out, right? And it's holding yourself accountable when you do slack to say, okay, it's fine, I slacked off, but we got to get back on that bandwagon because I deserve this, because I'm called to something better, because the people around me need me to be this highest version of myself so I can serve. Okay, so the same way you have boundaries towards other people, those boundaries, you need to have them towards yourself. And that's called accountability. And you may need a sister circle or a brother circle or a sister brother love circle around you that reminds you when you fall off the bandwagon, where they hold you accountable to your own boundaries to say, nah, girl, you said you're going to be over here and I see you're slipping. That's fine. 1 day, 2 days. But like, it seems like you're just forgetting completely that you're a bear. Like, where's that in a bear? We need to see some more bear behavior. Okay. Number 6 is forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself and being kind to yourself. Just be gentle with you. Remember how much it takes to embody this new version of yourself. Remember how much it's taken you all these years for you to have hit 40 and beyond 40. Honey, you've seen some things. You know some things. You've overcome some real mother things. And by the time you get to this big old age and you've done all of those delicious and challenging and just strengthening, resilient, defining things that have formed the muscles inside of you, you've earned it. You have earned every single moment of joy and of being here on earth and just deserving a good, soft life. So I need you to be compassionate and gentle with yourself. The thing is, once you've been through those 40 years, you know that you can do it, okay? And you also know it doesn't happen all in one go. It doesn't happen all in one day, sometimes not even all in 1 year, and definitely hardly ever on the timetable that you expect, right? What you need to do is be committed to those first 3 steps. Be it, believe it, act like it. And I promise you, you stick to that and it's going to happen. You wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, I have become, I am she is me, right? But to get there, you also need to practice self-compassion and self-care. And you need to remember Joy Harjo's gorgeous, beautiful words. Joy Harjo, if you don't know, let me put you on school. Joy Harjo is the first Native American Poet Laureate of the United States. She's a total fucking badass Magogodi writer, poet, and she has this just chilling, gorgeous poem. It's funny, on the internet and like in the culture, it's known as the forgiveness poem, but that's not really the title. I can't really recall myself the title, but look it up. It is so powerful, and it talks about giving yourself permission to just be kind to yourself and to be honest that like, yeah, there are some things that I messed up. There are some things that I would like to do better, but I'm doing them now, and that's what counts. And I'm allowed to take a breather, and I'm allowed to have a day off every once and then where I'm not like super hard on myself and I allow myself to rest. All right, beauties, that's it. These are some of the tools that I found really useful to level up at a big old age. And I'm really curious for you, what is the thing that you feel called towards working on in the next 40 years? Let me know in comments if this resonates. Let me know in comments if you've ever tried this framework of being it, believing it, and acting like it, and how that's gone for you. Let me know in comments if you are at this big old age and if there's things that you're still working on, because I know that all of us are like, we're in a growth part. That is what life is. If it's not growing, it's probably dead. So the idea that you have something that you're working towards and you're at this big old ripe age, it means you're alive. It means you're full of life. It means you are gorgeous, like any green thing, like any alive plant, beautiful thing. And I want you to just water that plant. I want you to nurture it. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye, beauties. Bye.
Was that useful? You want to go even deeper? I'd love to support you. My coaching program can help you make money and spark action whenever you speak with intention. Book time to chat using the link in the description box below. Also, leave a comment if this video offered something you needed to hear today, or if you have a question you want me to unpack in next week's episode. Fresh episodes drop every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Hit subscribe to get a notification so you never miss a beat. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to know that your story matters. And I'm here to help you stand out from the stage to the page.